Excuse me. Good morning. It is still morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Christopher Michael Curtis Bowen, on this morning edition, soon to be afternoon, edition of Fire of Liberty. Absolutely spectacular truth, which I've already discerned, and of course the elevation, evolution, and accelerated expansion, and truth and ignition and brilliance and excellence in the acceleration of humanity and the acceleration of and the recognition of our own divinity, of course, which is a very key part of this amazing Renaissance and Golden Age which we're living in, which is spectacular. Now, this amazing truth of one thing, of course, what I already reiterated, which is very important and key, is of course the 5 yamas and 5 niyamas, and so and it's very, very key to know those. And also, this is something I'm also going to read to, which is important to know, also to learn more about great advice. I'm going to pronounce this in many different ways. This is, of course, one development of some quotes, which again continue to evolve and recognize, one, our own divinity, and then, of course, in a sense, be our own limitlessness, and two, also champion, well, that's a good word, champion, but also to continue to accelerate, ascend, and continue to be absolutely miraculous. So, this is absolutely amazing. So, I'm going to read this. So, here we go. And this is advice. Advice to brahmacharis. And this is absolute bliss and absolute awesomeness and absolute, this is so, okay, so I'll just continue to read. Brahmacharya means celibacy. Brahmachari is one who is a celibate, one who observes chastity or celibacy. The term celibacy is from the Latin word celebs, or celebs, quote, celebs, or something like that, which means, quote, unmarried, unquote, or quote, single, or unquote, or excuse me, quote, single, unquote, quote, and signifies the state of living unmarried. It means control of not only the reproductive indriya, but also control of all senses. It means purity in thought, word, and actions. The life of a brahmachari begins with the Upanayana ceremony, the investor of the sacred thread, his second birth. The brahmachari should direct his attention solely to studying and acquiring of such knowledge as would enable him to become a worthy member of society. During this period of study, let him live either with his parents or at the place of his study under the supervision of teachers. He should not live by himself with friends and acquaintances, nor with relatives. A brahmachari is one who is attempting to realize Brahman by his conducting a life of absolute celibacy. Brahmacharya is the conduct of living a celibate life. Brahmachari should study religious books till he reaches the age of 25 if he has taken the vow of celibacy till the end of life. If he wants to become a Nashtika brahmachari, he need not enter the stage of householder. He should have real lasting vairagya and viveka, dispassion and discrimination. Then only he will really be benefited. He can devote his whole life to spiritual pursuits. Brahmachari should worship his guru, worship cows and gods with due reverence. Guru is the embodiment of all Vedas and Devas. Therefore, God and Guru should be taken as one, and he should worship his Guru daily. He should serve his Guru with faith and devotion for complete 12 years. A brahmachari should have japa as his highest possession. He should never leave japa. Through japa alone, the brahmachari attains success no matter whether he performs any other Vedic sacrifice or not. Through the conduct through the contact of his senses with their objects of gratification, he undoubtedly acquires sin. Hence, by controlling them, he achieves success. Control of the senses is possible for the brahmachari only through japa. Brahmacharis or brahmacharis or brahmacharis should do their Sandhya Vandana daily at the proper time, morning, noon, and evening. Sandhya is the point of junction of two periods of time. There is a special manifestation of force or purity at Sandhyas. The student will derive immense benefit by doing prayers at this particular meeting points of two periods of time. Argyaha, offering libation, with repetition of Gayatri, should be given to the sun at the proper time. You will have wonderful health, vigor, and vitality, and a pure, sharp intellect. At the present moment, students have entirely neglected their sanadhyas. Their minds have been charged with materialistic poison. They have become slayers of Atman. Quote, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we may die, end quote, has become their philosophy, exclamation point. Poor self-deluded souls, exclamation point. How long will you continue this state of affairs, question mark? Do not kill the soul within. Awaken, arise and purify yourself. Do sandhya. Understand and realize its potency and efficacy. Do some form of worship or other and realize the splendor of the Atman. Regain your lost divinity. A true brahmachari only can cultivate bhakti. A true brahmachari alone can practice yoga. A true brahmachari only can acquire jnana. Without brahmacharya, no spiritual progress or success in worldly affairs is possible. Brahmacharis should entirely give up betel, chewing, cigarettes, tobacco, snuff, tea, coffee, etc. Tobacco produces nicotine poisoning, tobacco heart, parentheses, irritable heart, close parentheses, nervous diseases, and tobacco amblyopia, parentheses, eye disease, close parentheses. O bold brahmachari, practice of brahmacharya gives good health, inner peace, strength, peace of mind, and long life. It invigorates the mind and nerves. It helps to conserve physical and mental energy. It augments strength, vigor, and vitality. It gives power to face the difficulties in the daily battle of life. It is the master key for opening the realm of health and happiness. It is the cornerstone of bliss and unalloyed felicity. It is the only specific that keeps up true manliness. Therefore, keep up brahmacharya by all means. Brahmacharya is freedom from sexual thoughts and desires. Preserve the vital fluid. It is the life force in you. You will enjoy supreme bliss. A perfect brahmachari can move the world, can command the five elements, like Sant Jnana Deva. Brahmacharya is the basis for acquiring immortality. Brahmacharya brings material progress and psychic advancement. It is the substratum for a life of peace in the Atman. It is a potent weapon for waging war against the internal asuras, kama, kruda, labha. It contributes perennial joy, uninterrupted and undecaying bliss. It gives tremendous energy, clear brain, gigantic willpower, bold understanding, retentive memory, and good vichara sakti. Through brahmacharya and brahmacharya alone can you get physical, mental, and spiritual advancement in life. The vital energy, the The virya supports your life. It is the prana of pranas which shines in your sparkling eyes, which beams in your blooming cheeks. It is a great treasure for you. It is the quintessential of blood. 1 drop of semen is manufactured out of 40 drops of blood. Mark here how valuable this fluid is. Brahmacharya, or spotless chastity, is the best of all panaceas. One who has perfect control over the sexual energy attains powers unobtainable by any other means. The door to nirvana or perfection is complete brahmacharya. Complete celibacy is the master key to open the realms of Elysian bliss. The avenue to the abode of supreme peace begins from brahmacharya or purity. Ojas is spiritual energy that is stored up in the brain by sublime thoughts, meditation, japa, worship, and pranayama. Sexual energy can be transmuted into ojas sakti and stored up in the brain. This energy can be utilized for divine contemplation and spiritual pursuits. That man in whom sex idea is deep-rooted can never dream of understanding Vedanta, and realizing Brahman even in 100 crores of births. Sexual vasanas, subtle desires, close parentheses, are more powerful than other vasanas. Therefore, you will have to direct all your efforts to subduing the sexual vasanas. Narada says in his Bhakti Sutras, quote, these, open parentheses, sexual, close parentheses, propensities, comma, though they at first are like ripples, acquire the proportions of a sea on account of bad company, end quote. Parentheses, Sutra 45, close parentheses, therefore, avoid evil company at all cost. What is the state of your mind when you attend a ballroom dance or nautch party, or when you read the quote, mysteries of the court of London, question mark, end quote. What is the state of your mind when you attend the satsanga party of a realized sage at Benares on the banks of the Ganga, or when you study the soul-elevating classic Upanishads, question mark. Compare and contrast your mental states. Remember, friend, talk even of stories of women, the luxurious ways of rich persons, rich foods, vehicles, politics, silken clothing, flowers, scents, etc. Because the mind gets easily excited, it will begin to imitate the ways of luxurious persons. Desires will crop up. Attachment also will come in. Obscene pictures, vulgar words, novels which deal with love stories, excite passion, and produce ignoble, mean, undesirable sentiments in the heart, whereas the sight of a good picture of Lord Krishna or Lord Rama or Lord Jesus or Lord Buddha, and the hearing of the sublime songs of Suradas, Tulasidas, or Tyagaraja, induce noble sentiments, holy thrill in the heart, and produce tears of joy and prem, and elevate the mind to bhavasamdhi instantaneously. Do you clearly see the difference now? Question mark. He who has wasted the vital energy becomes easily irritable, loses his balance of mind, and gets into a state of explosive fury for trifling things. When a man becomes furious, he behaves improperly. He will do anything he likes. He will even insult his parents, guru, and respectable persons. He does not know what he is exactly doing, as he loses his power of reasoning and discrimination. It behooves, therefore, that an aspirant who tries to develop good behavior must preserve the vital energy. Preservation of this vital energy leads to attainment of strong willpower, good behavior, spiritual exaltation, and sriya, or moksha, eventually. There is no harm in looking at a beautiful woman. You can admire her beauty and think that the beauty in her face is the beauty of the Lord. Beauty is God. Woman brings the message that God is beauty of beauties. Woman is the symbol of beauty. There should not be any lustful look, dristi, dosha, or parentheses, dristi, dosha, close parentheses. The angle of vision must be changed as indicated above. Again and again think that the beauty of the face is the beauty of the Lord. Godly feeling will arise when you look at a woman or a beautiful picture. Study the 10th chapter of the Gita Vibhuti Yoga again and again. The 10th chapter of Gita Vibhuti Yoga again and again. Physical brahmacharya must be strictly practiced at first. Control the body, mental purity, or mental brahmacharya will gradually manifest. Lead a well-regulated moral life. Moral strength is the backbone of spiritual progress. Ethical culture is part and parcel of spiritual sadhana. Loss of this vital energy is tantamount to practical death. Heavy loss of the vital energy is the cause of desire, miseries, and premature death. Therefore, take particular care to preserve this vital energy. Keep up brahmacharya, or the vow of celibacy, By the observance of brahmacharya, many of the sages of yore have attained immortality. It is the source of new strength, vigor, vitality, and success in life, and eternal happiness hereafter. So, and that's the... Ooh. So this is, of course, the amazing thing about eternal, and this is amazing. This is true, and this is what I have been teaching, explaining, and doing in many of my other previous posts and all the other stuff, previous editions. And this is what's so fascinating. It's amazing. And I mentioned so many times that next thing, which is crystal. I call it crystal. Crystal fire. Crystal blaze, yeah. So I call it crystal blaze, crystal fire, and that was the previous editions. And now, of course, it's like I described it as a combination of enhanced clairsentience, clairvoyance, and clairessence. And of course, there's unlimited, and I mentioned this before, and of course I've already mentioned eternal bliss, but it's unlimited, the amount of limitlessness that exists in, for example, in the mind alone, and of course the strength that comes from I guess we'll call it the body, or just the regular old cells, or our cells and what we understand them. And I've already reiterated and mentioned the DNA, but of course this is incredibly exciting. And of course this is like the state of eternal bliss, and this is what and of course that's already been reached. Like, for example, and that's, of course, and I've already described the understanding of time. Time, first of all, is time. One is relative. I don't really like that phrasing. It could be confusing. So to be more, like, for example, like I mentioned so many times with the Andromedans, they have no, or their concept, for example, their concept of time is completely different from our concept of time. As in how they calculate time and how we calculate time. Like, for example, time is the amount of time it takes for every cell in the body to be totally new, brand new. And so that's the fantastic thing And that's a beautiful cognitive awareness. And I can go on and on and on and on and on about all the abilities and talents and skills and amazing things. But the point is, one of the many points is, of course, the point that I gave, or the advice that's given, that's just automatically there, which is honestly at this point definitely common sense. But also, it's important to know just how key it is and how incredible it is and how absolutely, I mean, it is very clear. It's already been clear. It's already been made. And that's already known. Same thing with even the cultivation and the development of Crystal Blaze. Once again, that is the combination of absolute, already limitlessness of the type of spiritual abilities that can come from the mind, which of course are absolutely limitless. And so and of course, just the intellect, increasing intellect, and the and of course being immortal is just excuse me. It's just literally just the beginning. I mean, of course, once again, of this, we're accelerating and living in this beautiful, brand new, brilliant life experience and renaissance and golden age. And of course, the acceleration is happening incredibly fast. A lot of great things are happening. A lot of massive, incredible, positive changes are being occurred, and a lot of realizations and understandings and manifestations and ignitions and many type of, for example, aha moments is going to be really clear. And so what was described is very, very clear and very well described. And so that helps, of course, know everything, or know, of course, which is omniscience and omnipotence. A lot of what is described by well, one is described in my podcast, or in my broadcasts, and it's one is also kind of intuitive, common sense kind of thing, and the other thing is it's very limitlessness. So it's very, very, very awesome and very important and very key. Just that wonderful advice. I'm really admonishing or reiterating over and over. But the fantastic thing is probably actually let's just read this. Sadhguru, Brahman means the divine or ultimate, or Chara, or means the path. Sadhguru. If you are on the path of the divine, you are a brahmachari. To be on the path of the divine means you have no personal agendas of your own. You simply do what is needed. You have no personal ways of deciding where you should go in your life, what you should do, or what you like and dislike. All these things are simply taken away from you. If you do this unwillingly, it can be an absolute torture. If you do it willingly, it makes your life so wonderful and beautiful because there is nothing to bother. And beautiful because there is nothing to bother you anymore. You simply do what is needed. Life is so simple. Once you have given yourself like that, you do not have to bother about the spiritual path or worry about your spirituality. It is taken care of. You do not have to really do anything about it. People may think a brahmachari is making a great sacrifice and is being denied life, but it is not so at all. If someone is a brahmachari only by dress, yes, it is true, life is torture. But if a person who is truly walking the path of the divine, the pretty pleasures that the world offers will become totally meaningless. Once you enjoy the inner pleasures of your being, the external pleasures become totally meaningless. Does it mean everyone should become a brahmachari? Doesn't mean everyone should become a brahmachari? Everyone should become a brahmachari, not necessarily in terms of lifestyle, but internally. Everyone should be on the path of the divine, Brahmacharya does not just mean celibacy. That is just one of the aspects that have been taken up as a supportive system. To become a brahmachari means you are ecstatic by your own nature. You can be married and still be a brahmachari. It is possible because you are joyful by your own nature. You are not trying to extract joy from your husband or wife. This is how it should be. The whole world should be brahmachari. Everyone should be joyful by their own nature. If two people come together, it should be a sharing of joy, not extraction of joy from each other. An investment for the future. Why has a certain order been set up? If one is just seeking realization at the end of his life, it should be taken care of in many different ways. I can fix a date with you for that day! But if one wants to explore, and not only explore, if one wants to be a useful instrument in making it happen to many other people, then brahmacharya becomes significant. Brahmacharis or brahmacharis are an investment for the future to keep spirituality in its pristine purity and transmit it from generation to generation. A small core group of people are needed. They are initiated in a particular way, which turns their energies in a completely different direction. Everyone need not take that step, nor will we take everyone, but it is not because it is not necessary, and neither can they put in the sadhana that is required or demanded out of them. All of us have eaten mangoes, but how many of us have planted mango trees, made them grow, and then eaten mangoes? Most people have eaten mangoes because someone else planted the mango trees. In every society, out of 1,000 people, at least 10 people have to take care to plant mango trees. Similarly with this, a few people have taken the path of brahmacharya. People who are willing to dedicate themselves to others' well-being are needed in society. If there is no one thinking about others' well-being, that society is definitely heading for ruin. That is what has happened to society right now. That is what is happening to society right now. There are very few people thinking of everyone's well-being. Like a rocket! Essentially, this human mechanism is a certain energy system. You can keep it with many openings and transact with the world in a certain way, or you can make this into a closed circuit system so that it becomes very integrated. A rocket goes up because it is firing only on one side. Suppose it fires on all the sides, it is not going to go anywhere. It will just dissipate itself, or it will go somewhere without direction and fall apart. What we are trying to make out of a brahmachari is just that he fires only on one side. One that fires only on one side is going to go straight up, and there is a particular purpose to creating such a system. When you have a closed circuit system like that, it is a powerful instrument. This instrument could be employed or deployed in so many different ways. It is a weapon with which you can bomb the world with a spiritual process. Monks have been there in every culture because wherever there was a genuine enlightened process, they always wanted some mechanisms to be wired in such a way that they are completely integrated systems. There is no transaction outside. It is totally by itself. Those systems are needed if you want to shake the world in a certain way and want to create certain processes and access certain things. If you want to put a satellite beyond the atmosphere, you need a rocket. If you want to just fly around in the atmosphere, an airplane will do. That's the difference. When you are planning and projecting to do something which is beyond certain limitations, brahmacharis become necessary. Brilliant. This is your host, Christopher Curtis Bowen, on this evening edition on this morning edition. On this afternoon edition. It's morning and after. It's time. Anyway, afternoon edition. This is your host, Christopher Michael Curtis Bowen. once again accelerating Renaissance and accelerating this golden age, creating not only once again a beautiful star, crystal planet, but also obviously co-creating and growing curiosity. All right. Good afternoon. I love you all.